to our podcast, Along the Rock. It's basically an homage to the people who live in the Sauk Valley and the river that runs through it. I'm your host, Mark Morris, and joining me today to talk about the fall play at Sterling High School, Director Ellen Johnson.
Hello.
Actors, Katie Moore and Owen Gaffey.
Hi.
And they're doing Pride and Prejudice, which is a classic.
Yes, it is. It is definitely classic, and it's a challenge, but one that we've really worked hard for. So, yeah.
How long have you guys, I know you're both young, obviously, but how long have you guys been interested in and been doing theater? Owen?
I've been doing theater since I was in second grade. I started with Woodlawn. Did a couple shows like Jungle Book, 101 Dalmatians, a bunch of Disney things, and then I kept doing it till high school.
Okay, what about you, Marie? Sorry, Katie.
I didn't technically start theater until midway through last year, my junior year. It was with Madrigals, and then I went and we did our winter musical, which was Newsies. But I've always been performing. I did dance when I was in kindergarten. For 8 years after that, I've been in band and doing choir and stuff like that. So I've always been performing, but theater I didn't start till last year.
All right, both experienced.
Yes, and seniors. They're both seniors this
Yeah.
year, so we're going to be sad to lose them as well.
Plans for college, anybody?
I'd really like to go on and study musical theater or theater design and technology, so that's the hope. Yeah.
Don't know where yet?
I've been looking at Illinois Wesleyan University and Ball State, and there's a few other ones, but those are my top two as of right now.
Owen, what about you?
I would like to go into business in college. I want to be a real estate agent. It's just something that's always interested me. I like talking to people, so yeah, I thought that would be something fun to do.
That helps.
Yeah.
All right, Ms. Director, what about your experience in this wide world?
Well, I have been directing theater for 11 years now. I originally am from Kewanee, Illinois, so I got my start out there. And then I went to college at Monmouth College, where I directed there. And also studied abroad in Scotland for devising theater, and was able to direct while I was over there as well.
How was that? Was language a problem?
No, it wasn't. Understanding the accent was a little tough sometimes, I will say, but it was more beautiful than anything, honestly. So it was magical, and I'm very lucky to have that experience. So devising theater is creating theater, so I was. It really helped me become prepared for directing and making something out of maybe nothing,
Just about everything besides
Exactly.
writing.
Yes, exactly. We could do theater anywhere. It does not matter where. So.
All right. Well, why don't you introduce the two actors who will be doing a scene in costume, I might add.
Yes.
Which they volunteered to do for Pride and Prejudice. Just set the scene for us.
Pride and Prejudice is a classic story about Elizabeth Bennet and her many sisters, as well as family. And what ends up happening is that they meet these wealthy gentlemen, Mr. Darcy and Mr. Bingley. So I have Elizabeth Bennet here, who is our lead for the production, and her love interest, which is Fitzwilliam Darcy. We call him Mr. Darcy. And they have a conflict at this point in the scene. Elizabeth definitely is not a fan of Darcy. Darcy keeps putting his foot in his mouth several times, I might add. And Elizabeth is not one to back down. She's really one to be fiery and has opinions, and that is not super common of the time. This show takes place during the Regency era over in England. So it was a time of propriety. People were expected to behave a certain way, to feel a certain way as well. So during that time, women were mostly seen to be these wonderful, beautiful, elegant people, but not to have very many strong feelings. That was left for the gentlemen, you know? And Elizabeth was never one to fully follow all of those rules. And so she has that fire within her, and that's seen throughout the production, especially in the scene that we're about to see today. So during the scene today, we're going to see Darcy express his love for Elizabeth in what might be the worst way possible, honestly.
So Mr. Darcy's a little nervous, is he?
Oh yeah, he's very nervous.
All
Very
right.
nervous. So, and Darcy just keeps putting his foot in his mouth the entire time. But he's also he has a lot of pride in the way that he looks, in the way that he behaves. And so to express his feelings is something that's makes him very vulnerable, and he's not used to, completely out of his element, I would say.
Especially for someone in my social class, like in the story
Absolutely,
too. Yeah.
yes, and class is a very big thing in the Regency era during this time. Darcy, are you wealthy during this time?
Oh yeah, he's probably he's like the most wealthy person in the entire show. And,
Yeah. So he has a lot of wealth, and while...
How'd you make your money?
How does he make his money?
Well, it's actually passed down through the family, so it's inherited money.
Old money.
Yep, he has the big home of Pemberley Park, and then we meet Elizabeth, and Elizabeth, what is your class like?
We're like the bottom of the upper class, like very bottom. So like we still have nice things, but like all the sisters grew up like without a governess. They don't have people that take care of their house or anything like that. So they still have money, but they don't have like money. You know what I mean?
Yeah, new money.
They have newer
Yeah.
money, yeah. Not as much money, definitely. So, and it's seen as not a desirable thing for someone of Darcy's status to want to marry someone that is of Elizabeth's status. And so just that conflict there is really what kind of drives a lot of the show as well. And this scene, we see that tenfold, I would say.
And just so people know, you are opening this weekend.
We are. This is our tech week, we call it, which is our busy week where we pull some late nights. Especially Pride and Prejudice is a long show. It's a long novel, as you may know. And so it's all put into one show. So it's I would say about 2 hours long. So we've been pulling some late nights, trying to get it all put together, practicing what we need to, and really feeling the most confident that we can. So we're putting in a lot of late nights and hard work. So I'm very proud of everyone in the production.
That's great.
Truly.
How big a cast is it?
Well, it's about, I would say about almost 40 people, actually.
Really?
Yes. It's a large cast. We have 17 main leads, and then we have quite a large ensemble. I wanted to make sure to include people, as many people as possible. The fall play is our first production of the school year.
Of course.
So my goal is to get people into the theater, learning about the theater, and feeling more confident with themselves by the end. So getting everyone involved. So that means that we have lots of people to do lots of things. So, and they've been very patient with me trying to organize all of it. So I am very grateful for them and proud of every single member of the cast.
Do you have enough tech staff?
Yes, we do. We have our fearless tech leader, Kyle Morgan.
Love Kyle.
Yeah, he's amazing, an absolute genius in all that he does. And we have several students that are through Sterling High School. They have the opportunity to go work for Kyle Morgan, as well as some people outside of the high school. And so we have people for the light boards, the sound boards, for just about all of it. Sterling is very fortunate to have all of the things that we do. You know, we have the big cyc that we can light up in the background. We have a wood shop that we can build, and we don't take that for granted for a single minute. We put it all to use, don't we?
We do.
There was a lot of thought, I know, because I was working in Sterling when they raised money and built the auditorium.
1998, yeah.
So.
Yeah, we are beyond fortunate to have the space that we do. The space that we do, the people that we do, the materials. We were able to rent our costumes from a Broadway company up in Chicago. And all of this couldn't be possible without people coming out to see our shows. So please come support the theater department and help us keep on keeping on.
Mr. Darcy.
Miss Bennet, I've come to pray. How's your headache?
Not quite gone, I'm afraid.
I'm sorry to hear it. Perhaps Miss Bennett, if I were to... Good evening. In vain, I have suffered. It won't do. My feelings will not be repressed. You must allow me to tell you how ardently I admire and love you. No one is more shocked at these sort of events than myself, especially given the very different circumstances of your family and my own. However, despite the degradation I might suffer, I feel compelled to express my devotion to you. I have tried to endeavor my feelings, but I have failed. Therefore, I willingly surrender, and I ask that you do me the honor of accepting my hand, Miss Bennett.
You surrender?
Yes.
I am amazed. If I could feel gratitude for the expression of such feelings, I would thank you, but I cannot. I've never desired your good opinion, and yet you bestowed it most unwillingly. I've never meant to occasion pain to anyone, and if it has been done, I hope it will be of short duration.
Is this all the reply I am to have?
Your design in offending and insulting me is quite evident. Why else would you choose to tell me you like me? Against your will, against your reason, and even against your character.
Should I celebrate the lowness of your connections?
Must you go out of your way to mention it?
I only wish to be honest.
Might I do the same?
Please.
I have every reason in the world to think ill of you. Do you think that any consideration would tempt me to accept the hand of the man who has ruined, perhaps forever, the chance of happiness for my most beloved sister? No motive can excuse the unjust and ungenerous part you acted there.
No motive but friendship.
You cannot deny that you divided them from each other, imposing on them both misery of the acutest kind.
I've no wish to deny that I did everything in my power to separate my friend from your sister. I've been kinder to him than to myself.
Oh, because you allowed yourself to offer your hand to someone as unworthy as I. Never have I witnessed such terrible self-loathing.
You mistake me.
No, I have known your true self since we first met, and my opinion of your character was further decided upon hearing the words of Mr. Wickham.
You take an eager interest in that gentleman's concerns.
I know his misfortunes.
His misfortunes, yes. They have been great indeed.
And of your infliction. You have reduced him to his present state of poverty, withholding the advantages which you know were designed for him.
What was designed for him?
You have done this, and yet you could treat the mention of his misfortunes with contempt.
And this is your opinion of me. Thank you for explaining it so fully. I've had faults indeed, but perhaps these faults might have been overlooked had not your pride.
My pride?
Had not your pride been hurt by the fact that I have misgivings about your family? Can you expect me to congratulate myself on the hopes of relations in life who are so decidedly beneath my own?
You know, I might have felt some concern in refusing you had you behaved in a more gentlemanlike manner.
Miss Bennett.
You could have not made me the offer of your hand in any way that would have tempted me to accept it.
You have said quite enough, madam.
I had not known you a month before I decided that you were the last man in the world whom I could ever be prevailed upon to marry.
Thank you. I'm so sorry for wasting so much of your time.
We thank you for your performance and giving us a feel for Pride and Prejudice, and I hope the audience was good. Just 2 shows or
3.
Sunday matinee?
Yes.
3 shows. We have on Friday and Saturday at 7:30 p.m. at the Centennial Auditorium, as well as on Sunday at 2 p.m. So not quite as late of a night on the Sunday performance. So I know my parents are coming then, so they got a bit of a drive. So
All right. We appreciate you coming. In fact, I appreciate you too, Ellen. I know this is the busy week.
yes, I'm usually behind the scenes, so it's a little bit different for me to be out here with you guys.
Yeah.
And I'd like to thank everybody on our crew who made this program possible.
Yes.
You've been watching Along the Rock.